Yeah, you rejoin us here at Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. We've already had one game today. That was Highland against Glenrothes in the RBS Bowl final, which Highland won quite comfortably, although it was a cracking game of rugby. And I'm joined again by Chris Patterson, who will be our summariser for the next match, which is the RBS Shield, and that will be between Caithness and Preston Lodge. So we've had one Highland team already victorious this morning, Chris, and there's a big Caithness contingent down for the next one. So, you know, that, judging by what we had in that first game, that was a cracking game of rugby, great conditions to play, hopefully more of the same in this one.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think a cracking opening to the RBS Cup Finals day, and we'll hopefully follow that now with Caithness against Preston Lodge. Two form teams with this one, really. Preston Lodge are unbeaten all season, and Caithness are unbeaten in 2014. So quite rightly so, two form teams coming into the final, and it'll be a physical encounter. We saw, Jim and I, we went up to Caithness at the start of the season, saw them play Mackay, and we were struck by how physical the game was. And Preston Lodge, well, they're always a physical outfit down in East Lothian. I've played there myself on a number of occasions. Obviously a club that brought Scott Murray and Alan Jacobson, a couple of seasons internationalists to Scottish rugby, so they are a physical outfit as well. Again, I think we'll see a quick start to the game. I think there'll be one or two mistakes as the atmosphere builds and the intensity and I suppose the nerves coming on Cup Final day, but once it settles down, I'm expecting another cracking game.
Yeah, well, yesterday here at Broadwood, the representatives from all the clubs involved in all the finals that are taking place today. We've obviously got the two of the women's finals are at DL. They kicked off at 11 o'clock. We'll give you the results of those. But we spoke to some of the reps from the clubs yesterday, and we managed to catch up with both Preston Lodge and Caithness.
I think you kind of just take one game at a time, as the old cliche goes, but as you get nearer to the final, maybe quarter-final stage, you start thinking about that. It'd be quite good to go to Broadwood, so semi-finals, obviously, great result there for us, so got through.
Mackay in August, was it August?
Yeah.
Or was it September?
Yeah, August.
So it's a long time ago, so
yeah.
how's the team done since then?
Pretty well, I think. We've had a solid league campaign, got a few good results, a couple of ones we were disappointed with. We thought we could have maybe challenged for promotion if we got a couple of more results away from home, but yeah, it's been a good season for Caithness so far.
Yeah, Caithness and Preston.
Caithness to the left, McIntosh, Fryer, Anderson, Frubister and McLeod, and Liam Brims and Chris Hamilton at half back. A big front row, Smith, Duffy and Gray, Anderson and Morris in the second row, Rhys Coghill at 6, the captain Evans, Rhys Coghill at 6, Evan Sutherland is at 8, and Stevie Campbell is at 7. That's the team sheets that we've been given. So there's a wee change in numbers there at the bottom of the Caithness team. Preston Lodge, Graham Patterson at fullback, Hughes, Thomas, Robertson and Glynn are the three-quarters. Clark and Gordon are the half-backs. Big Pack, Eels, Johnson and Rogers, Stoddart and Cowan the captain, Riley and Dixon are the breakaways. Voy is number 8, Paul Voy. So, Daniel Shaw blows his whistle, gives the signal to get this game underway. Immediately Caithness under a bit of pressure. Liam Brims has to go back and cover. Preston Lodge in the black and red and white. Tap back. Away it goes by Chris Hamilton. Look at Hamilton with that lovely wee sidestep and a jink just to take him through. Ball went forward. Referee indicates he's waiting for advantage. Chris Hamilton, I remember doing a commentary up at Inverness some years ago, and I'm sure Chris Hamilton was involved in Scotland under-20s that day against the French lads. And he's a real live wire.
He looked sharp today as well, didn't he, Billy? Just beat that initial sort of first line defender, and it's some days a lot easier when the underfoot conditions are so good. It's very difficult for a defender to change direction late, and they just tried to force the offload, but it's great to see so much endeavour in the first and let them down.
There's some big beef in that front row for Caithness. Colin Smith, one on the left-hand side of the picture. Roddy Gray, the hooker, and Grant Anderson on the tight head. But PL have taken this one. Here they go. Standoff was looking, Andrew Clark was looking for a runner coming in from this side, but none materialised. And they've won a penalty. Not releasing after the tackle again.
Yeah, we saw that penalty earlier on, didn't we? You know, the referees, I think, are favouring that, and I like that. I've said this before, I like that as a law. When you make the tackle, you've got to let go of his first opportunity.
Full back for Preston Lodge. There he is with number 15 on his back. And just taking his time. Left-footed kicker. There he goes. Just a wee chip. And successful. And so, after some 6 minutes of the first half, it's all square as Graham Patterson lands the equalising penalty for Preston. Team can come out on top in this encounter. Here come Caithness. A good tackle from Norman Frubister there as the Preston Lodge forwards took it forward. And again, some messy stuff in the ground, and again Caithness penalised. So they'll have to get that sorted.
Yeah, the second man into the tackle there is coming off their feet and getting on the wrong side, getting on the Preston Lodge side. But that was well done by Preston Lodge. You know, you secure a good kick-off, you make yards up the middle. And
there's about 18 stones, almost 19. But the rest are round about the 16.5 stones. But they'll look big. Look, a big side. And Preston Lodge, well, they've got their jumpers, Bruce Stoddart and Blair Cowan at 4 and 5 in the line out. There it goes right to the back. Oh, over the top. Hits the ref.
Nutmeg the ref. That's not bad. You see, you know, a free-flowing attacking move here from Preston Lodge. They're set up as if they've got someone up their sleeve, and obviously we've scored so many points throughout the season. They'll have some nice moves to play.
And PL's left winger Paul Glynn has drifted in off the touchline into midfield. So they look as though they're set up, as you say, for a sort of move away down that far right-hand side. So here's the scrummage. Gordon with a put in. Wee problems there. And the speed of engagement in midfield there by Caithness, though. Here's Gordon again. Dale Gordon, this wee wispy sort of scrum half. This fella's not wispy, that's Paul Voy, the number 8. So both teams trying to sort of suss each other out and lay down a marker early in the game. Nice pass there for Jason Riley. And away come Preston Lodge are under a wee bit of pressure, but they've done very well. That's another very good probing kick. The mark is called for and given by referee Daniel Shaw. And wee Graham Fryer down in defence there. There he is wearing that scrum cap. Did very well.
What a tempo as well, isn't it? Often, you know, a lot of kicking, a lot of kick chase going on. It's been played at a fierce tempo, and I can see it as a result. I think Blair McIntosh just thought, enough's enough. He
seems to fit him better. So there he goes. And this is a good maul now by Preston Lodge. Driving this big beefy Caithness back. Tightly bound, well disciplined. And they've got the pen.
On the driving ball, get the ball to the back of the driving ball, and you're in control. And they had that in the last line out. Let's see if they can do it again here.
So it's East Lothian against Caledonia here, isn't it? Preston Lodge against Caithness. And at the moment it's Preston Lodge who are putting on the pressure on the Caithness try line. Gordon at scrum half. Here's the big centre, Chris Thomas. Oh, and another penalty.
Who caught the ball and line out to the deck, which meant it stopped the drive. I thought it was well defended. The second infringement, I mean, they did collapse them all, but you know, it's the first penalty for that in the game. And we're only 10-12 minutes into the game. It's a fairly harsh yellow card, I believe, but that's the rules. You know, it is 5 yards out from their own goal line, so the referees deemed that to be a yellow card offence, and Preston Lodge now have an opportunity to attack against 14.
Andy Morris is the lad in the centre.
There's always a dilemma here for teams, you know, Caithness' shoes. They've lost a forward. You know, they're up against it a little bit up front. Do you add a back to the scrum? You know, do you stop it at source? Do you try and, you know, shut off route one if you want? Or do you sacrifice the space out wide by doing that? Or do you keep your back out? Most coaches will say put an extra man on the scrum and make sure you stop it at source with 8.
Right. Here's Dale Gordon again. PL edging ahead now because it's Caithness 3, Preston Lodge 8. Penalty try.
Yeah, just as we said, you know, Caithness opted not to put the extra man on the scrum. They kept their 7 backs. A penalty try. You know, I think the try was coming as a sign of dominance. You know, when that pack's going towards the line, you know, so quickly. But yeah, they chose not to put that extra man on the scrum, and it probably cost them dear, as Graham Patterson adds the extras.
There they are, Caithness 3.
Wee stadium there, and it was always a firm pitch, and some few good games for Gala against PL.
It's a wee basin sort of a bowl, isn't it? Yeah.
Played quite a lot of age grade rugby there as well, with Scotland under 18s, and good memories down there. I remember playing Preston Lodge 10s, winning Preston Lodge 10s for Gala, which was
right.
I think late 90s, 97, 98, which was always a really, I know exactly, always a really good concept. You know, it wasn't 7s, it wasn't 15s, and how did you play it? It was early season.
Trying to G up Caithness. No. Poor pass, kicked on there by the fullback, Blair McIntosh. Patterson under pressure. Chance here for Caithness. And another penalty for Preston Lodge with somebody offside there.
Yeah, just in front of the kicker, I think. Just a bit unfortunate. It's a fly hack for Blair McIntosh, and 2 or 3 the players were ahead of him and followed up in the chase. But a great little break from Chris Hamilton up the blind side at the far side of the field from a retreating scrum. He picked it up.
Stoddart gets it, but loses it again. Here's Grant Anderson. Then a wee pause. That's the Preston Lodge 10 metres line. Hamilton. Along the line it goes to Brims. Oh, and a long miss pass. Kind of speculative pass, that one. Caught away out wide. Brims again, shipping it on to his captain, Stevie.
There's a few victories, but a few heartaches as well. So the love of the game and the enjoyment brings him back, and these are the days that'll stick in the memory.
So there's the line out position, just outside Preston Lodge's 22 metres line. The jumpers for PL are Bruce Stoddart, who wears 4, and
his tee up, set off running backwards towards halfway, assuming it was over, and then I think he heard the roar of the crowd and wondered what had happened. So yeah, looking at the flags down at the bottom corner, it looks as if the ball must have held up in the wind a wee bit.
Just the slightest of breezes. Coghill can't get hands on it. And if you've lost your pictures or sound, then we apologise for the break in transmission. Just a little technical fault that we've had, and we hope it's rectified and that you're back with us for this RBS Shield final. Our apologies. Here are Preston Lodge under a bit of pressure. This is Graham Patterson. Gordon at scrum half, gets it back. Finlay Hughes having to kick in a hurry. Good kick, lots of territory gained.
Fantastic kick, fantastic kick. Caithness had dropped 3 into the backfield, and not only did he find the safety of the touchline, but a long kick as well from deep inside his own 22 to almost up to the Caithness 10-metre line. That's the beauty of having more than one kick on your side as well. I mean, that was Finlay Hughes, the right winger. Usually associate Andrew Clark with the kicking as a 10 or Graham Patterson, but having that flexibility is so important in the modern game.
Here's the line out. Now Stevie Campbell was throwing in earlier on in the game, and I think that's him away. Yes, it is him away on the far side. Right at the tail of the line out for Caithness, number 8 is Evan Sutherland. Coghill trying to get up there. He was lifted, one of the back row men, but it's Preston Lodge who have it. Nice running. This is Jason Riley again, who's done 1 or 2 very good things already in these early stages. Hamilton goes back. Hamilton under pressure. Pete Johnson's got him. Referee brings them all back for an earlier infringement.
Yeah, it's just a knock on, I think, from Jason Riley, who looks a really athletic player. He beat the first man with footwork. He attacked the space and then drove through the contact when it eventually came, and got his hands free to offload, but unfortunately he just it went forward. Just as he tried to offload with one hand, it went forward. But he's definitely somebody worth watching this afternoon. Jason Riley, the number 6 of Preston Lodge.
3 tries against Langham last week. He had in Preston Lodge 101 points to 5 win over Langham. And he got a vital try in the Shield semi-final as well, did Mr. Riley. So he's obviously going to be up for this. Retreating scrum, but Caithness did well. This lad, Norman Frubister's a useful runner as well. Then Brims. Young head, big boot, into touch. Clears the danger.
Yeah, good kick as well, actually. That was fortunate in some ways, but very good in others. The scrum was good, the pick-up of the base of the scrum was good, which took the ball outside the 22, which then meant that Liam Brims couldn't kick straight to touch, although he was standing in his 22, and he managed to kick 40 yards and bounce it into touch. Good clearance, good play.
Lovely taking the line out there. Blair Cowan, the captain, doing the deed there. Oh, and Preston Lodge have lost it in contact. Coghill is back to help for Caithness. Here they go. Brims again, missing it. Here's Hamilton. Hamilton with a wee kick ahead. Felt he didn't have the pace. Good cover by Patterson. Another Patterson at fullback. Where have I heard that? Just dawned on me, actually. You probably saw that right from the word go, Chris.
No.
Nah.
It was a long time ago I played fullback. But days like this, you wish you were back out there in the sunshine. And I'd never played on the artificial surface. We trained in it often at Moneyfield. I've never played a game in it, but the guys who play in the Rabot, there's one in Cardiff and the Premiership at Saracens, rave about it. How you can play so quickly and really good for attacking rugby.
Coghill with a nice line out catch, but then his distribution from the line wasn't just what Caithness wanted. A bit sloppy. Here's Hamilton, takes the quick penalty kick and off he goes. Look at him, he's like a wee jackrabbit. Daniel Shaw, the referee, is watching very carefully. I think Preston Lodge got back the necessary 10 metres just. Graham Patterson again with a massive clout. What a belt he's given that. Here's McIntosh having to cover this from within his own 22. Blair McIntosh. Yep, finds touch. But that was a good territorial gain there by Graham Patterson, the Preston Lodge fullback. And Blair McIntosh, well, just under a wee bit of pressure to get the ball back.
Yeah, a good side that actually. Preston Lodge. Chris Hamilton took the quick tap penalty, but I think what he was looking for was one of the Preston Lodge players to tackle him, to stop him before he made the 10 yards. But they held the discipline, they held off, turned the ball over, and Graham Patterson hit a wonderful kick down the field.
Again the overthrow, taken again by Riley. But I think the throw was a bit off the straight, a bit crooked. And so they have to come back.
They're trying to get Jason Riley involved as much as possible, aren't they? You see what Preston Lodge did there. They stacked the front of the line out, tried to bring Caithness forward, and then threw the ball right over the back to where Riley was on his own. Unfortunately, it was a little squint, but they're looking for ways to get this powerful, dynamic ball carrier into the game.
And Caithness back up to 8 forwards again. Andy Morris, who had spent his 10 minutes in the sin bin, back on, and there's a penalty now to Caithness. So the men from Thurso, who play their rugby at Millbank Ground away up there in the northeast, have got the chance to gain some territory here. Well, I think Brims could have kicked across that ball rather than kicking through it, and maybe didn't get quite the distance that he was looking for.
Yeah, it takes us up to halfway, and I think Caithness need to string a few phases of possession together. They're starting halfway here, and let's see if they can keep the ball, build the phases, put a bit of pressure on Preston Lodge. Preston Lodge have been very impressed with so far. They're controlling the game very well.
Brilliant line-out take by Grant Anderson for Caithness. Here's big Ruddy Gray leading the charge. Hamilton, nice layoff there. Colin Smith takes it on for Caithness. Preston Lodge's defence, very good. Brims. Anderson coming in the cut. Big tackling though by Blair Robertson and Chris Thomas in midfield for PL. Then Anderson plays scrum half. 6'3" is one of the biggest scrum halves you'll get, I dare say. Certainly one of the heaviest at 16.5 stones. And then Caithness get a wee bit of a rumble going, and Preston Lodge have to work very hard to stop them. But they get the put into the set scrum.
Yeah, I think it's
a maul and ball held up.
Yeah, I think so. But you know, that's one of the sort of recent variations, or fairly recent variations. Although the ball was moving forward, Caithness were moving towards the Preston Lodge line. They didn't get the ball back, and it was a maul that then went to ground. So, you know, good defence again from Preston Lodge, but better from Caithness that held the ball for 4, 5, 6 phases there. And that's a great way of settling the nerves already. You know, the players will look up at the clock and see they've played 27 minutes. And they'll think, where's that gone? Everyone says that about finals, about big games. You blink and you miss it. And, you know, that's certainly how the players will feel, how good both clubs are and both club communities. And it's great to see the spectators come along and back on their side in the sunshine here at Broadwood.
Well, the sun is across on this side now. It was away on the far side of the field earlier on this morning, but the spectators across there are in the shade now, and they've deserted that side and come across here. There's a big Caithness scrummage again. Very well done, Coghill. This lad, Rhys Coghill, wearing the blue scrum cap in the green shirt, number 6, just getting up off and onto his feet, has done great work on the ground for Caithness.
He was quick onto that ball, wasn't he, Bill? You know,
he was indeed.
Caithness disrupted the Preston Lodge scrum, and then Coghill was a good back row player, should be. He came off the side of the scrum, dived in the ball, and then once again we had hands in the ruck from Preston Lodge, and Brims gets his third opportunity.
So Liam Brims, who hit the upright with his last penalty attempt, is a wee bit further out this time, but maybe slightly straighter, and this will be a kick of just about 38 metres. It's usually about 40 metres from the try line to the 10 metres line, round about that. And so he's 2 metres away from there. There you are, you can see that you got the geography of it all. And here's Brims, and then we'll get the shot of the ball flying through the air. Brims with another big belt. Oh, it just crawled over. We've seen that once or twice, but it got the 3 points. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 10. Game on, Chris.
Absolutely, that's a good kick as well. It's very difficult as a kicker to kick your second kick in succession from the same place when you miss the first one. But as you see there, he really followed through. He drove his body to the target, and it's 38 metres out. It just drops over the post, but it's 3 points all the same. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 10.
Are there any wee tips that you would give kickers in that situation, kicking from the similar situation?
You have to trust what you do in training. It's so easy to say, but difficult to do. You know, you train all week and you pick up your cues, the 2 or 3 things that you think are really important. Just trust them on match day.
Brims again. Patterson underneath. Catches well. He's got Paul Glynn on this left wing, but he cuts inside. Here's this lad, Riley, again. He's a force, I'll tell you. Strong runner and carrier. And a lovely wee offload there to Bruce Stoddart. Some nice rugby being played here. Andrew Clark, the standoff. That's a searching kick. A bad bounce for PL, a good one for Caithness. Advantage, chance here for Preston Lodge. Oh, that's a great pass. In they go for the try.
Forward, I think.
Or was the pass? Oh, the pass went forward. Was it Dale Gordon who was up there to take it? I think it was, the wee scrum half, but it doesn't matter really because the pass went forward.
There's some good play from Preston Lodge, really. They created the space over that far side, and then Andrew Clark found it with a boot. 1 or 2 dodgy bounces, but then they reacted quicker, didn't they, and picked it up. And I think the last pass was forward. This one here.
That, I think, is Blair Cowan, the captain, who was trying to do a one-handed offload inside. And wee Dale Gordon, well, he thought he saw his name in the Sunday papers. Not to be. Not to be.
Great effort to get over there for the second row and give them one-handed offload. It's just unfortunate for them it went forward.
So here's the scrummage resulting from that forward pass by Preston Lodge. Chris Hamilton pops it in. Caithness in a bit of disarray in retreat in that scrum, but they've still managed to hold the ball. Hamilton with a lovely wide base. Brims under a bit of pressure, but strong enough to get the kick away and fast enough.
Coaches often talk about small things changing matches and little things being done well that can have a big influence on a match, and one of those is kick pressure. So you saw there the Preston Lodge players, 3 of them charging at Liam Brims, and it's not the first time that's happened. He's been charged down once before, so any kicker in the Caithness side are putting under huge pressure by the Preston Lodge guys.
Bruce Stoddart jumped well there. He gets a bit of a lift, of course, but It was he who got his hands on the ball. Now look at this drive from Preston Lodge. And you can just in the corner of your picture see the Caithness try line. That's how close they are, about 10 metres away. There's a penalty coming Preston Lodge's way. Referee's got his arm out indicating advantage. Still this maul trundles on. It's like the Roman army of olden days, isn't it? With the shields up in front and in they go. Oh, and a lovely dummy. Not good enough, but the penalty will still come to Preston Lodge. I think it was big Graham Patterson who was up in the line there and sold that dummy.
And is that another yellow card?
Goodness me.
I think I saw the referee.
He was twitching.
Yes, I think there's a yellow card. I think the can't see it is. I think he's a wee bit embarrassed to play. The Caithness player is actually behind the dead ball line, taking the long route off the field.
It is.
Yeah, you know, I think there was a lot of control there from the Preston Lodge drive. It's very difficult to do that with all that power and all that strength and fierce power going through to keep the ball under control. They did do that, and it's deemed to be illegal. The way that Caithness defended it by taking the player's legs.
Well, we've seen a flurry of red cards in this morning's play already. Now, when this fellow comes up, we'll get a wee look at his number. See who it is. Meanwhile,
it's a centre.
Preston Lodge have lost it, Chris. PL have lost it in the scrum. Turnover.
Caithness scrum strong, isn't it? You know, you remember that one over there where Cockhill dived the loose ball. That's when you've said it, and we've said it time and time again. The size of these players, especially the Caithness pack,
they are big.
They are big, but they're transferring that size with technique to make a really strong platform.
It was Norman Frubister who got the yellow card. So Caithness down to 14 men. Frubister is a centre, so they'll have to rejig that three-quarter line. But they've got a free kick. And their captain, Stevie Campbell, who's he's a real goer. He does enjoy his rugby, and well, he wants to keep the tempo of this game up. Interesting, Caithness have taken quite a few of these penalties and free kicks, taken them quickly, and asked one or two questions of the Preston Lodge defence.
I think because it was a free kick, he was quite keen to you know, pick the ball, keep the tempo, as you say. But obviously, if they kick it out, then it's more possession to Preston Lodge. So as captain, he was shown initiative, but he was on his own, unfortunately, and then called back.
Preston Lodge with a big line out, tap it back, but immediately through there comes Evan Sutherland. Here's this man Riley again. He's a good player, this laddie Jason Riley, number 6 for Preston Lodge. When you get the chance to see him on your picture, that's a good shot there of Chris Hamilton, just kicking long downfield beyond Finlay Hughes, who's got the ball now. And what can Finlay Hughes do with it? Here's your answer, and here's Campbell, the captain. Bang! Nudge. Like a cannon. Nudging it, dare I say, nudging it down to the 22. Paul Glynn, long kick, beautifully caught by Blair McIntosh. Oh, it was a good piece of running, and then the offload was just off target. Preston Lodge turn it over. Patterson, Thomas. That one, nothing came of that one.
I can't believe that's the second nutmeg on the referee we've seen in one game, Bill. I've never ever seen that once before, never and twice. So Daniel Shaw, I think, who knows what happens to the footballers? I think they're ridiculed when they're nutmegged at training. So maybe some of the referees and assistant referees will be having a wee giggle.
We're having the season's nutmegs in one game. Oh, what a great stretch there for Caithness by big Andy Morris in the line out, but it was just a wee bit inaccurate. Here come Preston Lodge. Chris Dixon, number 7, with ball in hand at the bottom of that melee. Then they come out along the line to Clark. Good running. This is Thomas. Kerris Thomas is there. Now they offload to Blair Robertson. Robertson's in for a great score. Try given, the referee says. Blair Robertson, number 12, with the try. Preston Lodge ease further ahead. It's Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 15.
A wonderful try by Preston Lodge, and an important time to score as well. 3 minutes out from half time. And that's a great team try. Yes, Blair Robertson scored it, but the forwards won the ball, pulled in the Caithness defence. There was the knowledge of Andrew Clark to find the space on the outside. As you see it here, Chris Thomas broke away. See, there's the space outside the last Caithness defender. And there's the break, the handoff by Chris Thomas, and the support on the inside by Robertson. That's the best place to support the ball, in behind the ball. You come right from behind with the pace, and then the power to dive over in the corner. Good score.
Good score. We've seen some excellent tries in first of all in the bowl final this morning, which Highland won, and secondly in this Shield final, which Preston Lodge are leading in at the moment. And here's your man Graham Patterson here of the left boot. Away out in the touchline. That's a good looking kick. Oh, that is a cracking conversion by Graham Patterson. That increases the distance between the sides. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 17 now, thanks to Patterson's conversion.
Wonderful conversion. Right out in that right hand touchline, and his left foot just so. The very first kick we saw, he just looked so smooth, so comfortable. And it's great to see him knocking over his extra points for his side.
I remember watching you kick conversions, Chris, not wanting to embarrass you or anything, but out in Argentina in a test match there, very windy day, and the Scots had the worst of it, and Argentina were being allowed to get away with murder, and Mike Blair had been bashed and battered round the fringes of the scrum, and you kept drilling these conversions over from the touchline. The toilet rolls were heading your way from the spectators. I couldn't. Very South American.
And there was a lot worse heading my way as well in Argentina, I tell you that.
Oh,
a difficult place to play.
Oh, aye.
Good memories.
Oh, yeah. That was the pitch which had the moat round it.
That's right.
Yeah. And away come Preston Lodge again.
That was to keep me away from the fans, Bill.
Yeah. In case you beat them up. Yes.
Right.
There's your scoreline at the top of the picture. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 17. Here's the Twitter address if you want to get in touch with us here and show your support for your team. It's at Scotland Team, hashtag RBS Finals Day. At Scotland Team, hashtag RBS Finals Day. That's the Twitter address, so get tweeting. Now, Chris Hamilton for Caithness, with that 11-point gap between the sides, and it's a bit of an uphill struggle for them now, but they've still got lots of time. Wee deft pass out to McIntosh with a grubber kick through. Caithness midfield is short of a man, of course, because Frubister's in the bin, so the follow-up maybe wasn't what they wanted there, and Preston Lodge get it away to touch. Safety first. Coming up to half-time. There we are, just as I spoke. Referee Daniel Shaw indicated there that it was half-time, and so it's been a very interesting and an all-action first half, with Preston Lodge coming out the better. Caithness 6, PL 17 at the interval. So, Chris, let's just go through that. We've had, what, the one try, two tries, the penalty try, and then that last one by Blair Robertson, which the spectators, who are coming here in big numbers now, are enjoying. Talk us through the penalty try and the build-up to that part of play. Yeah,
the build-up to penalty. We saw a lot of penalties early on, to be honest, but not predominantly from Caithness or from Preston Lodge. It was one or two either way, and then the penalty try came from resultant pressure from Preston Lodge. They had a quality scrum, then they had two line-outs attack. The line-out was sacked illegally, resulting in a yellow card for Caithness. And then from that decision, from that penalty, decided to take a scrum and drive it over. Caithness stopped them, but the penalty try was probably quite rightly awarded, given Preston Lodge an early lead. And then Caithness, since then we've seen a real strength in their scrums. So I don't know who's quite on top in the scrums, but both shown a lot of power and a lot of strength there as well. And the second try from Robertson was a wonderful try. Great support from Blair Robertson after Chris Thomas's early break. So two tries and two penalties from Liam Brims, keeping Caithness in the game 17-6.
Okay, there's the half-time score. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 17. That's the score at the break. We'll take a short break and we'll be back in just a few minutes. And welcome back to Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld for the second half of the RBS Shield final between Caithness and Preston Lodge. I'm Bill Johnston, and alongside me I have Chris Patterson. Chris, we reached the half-time score of Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 17, with Liam Brims kicking a couple of penalties for Caithness and Preston Lodge scoring a penalty try and a lovely try by Blair Robertson, and Graham Patterson getting in and on a penalty.
Number 7, they've both won a lot of turnovers and they've managed the game quite well, but in the backs as well. Chris Hamilton, the scrum half, we've spoken about him. He's looked sharp. He's managed the game well. He's kicked when he's needed to kick. Obviously they lost Fruvister in the midfield, which created a bit more space for Preston Lodge's try in the corner there just before half time. But yeah, they've got a deficit to overcome, but they can do that. Cup finals or Shield finals always bring out the best in the end, driven on by a big crowd. And you know, I suppose some of them will be thinking about the bus trip home and how much better it will be. You know, it's a long, long way up to Thursday. How much better it will be with a trophy on the team bus. But Preston Lodge, they'll fight that hard. They're unbeaten entirely all season, and let's see if they can continue that this afternoon.
Norman Frubister will have another 3 minutes to stand in the touchline and agonise before he's allowed back on at the end of his 10-minute suspension. David Lockie has come on, I see, for Caithness, number 22. Wearing a pair of lime green boots he is, right up in the action already. Here's McIntosh. Blair McIntosh had some very good pieces of play in the first half. Look at the wee sway away there from the incoming tackler. Hamilton, Brims, just trying to keep it in play. Oh, and that's a good, well-judged kick, that. Right down parallel to the touchline. Graham Patterson, who's had a very good first half with his boot, whips it infield. Good enterprise by PL. This is good stuff. Here's Riley. Jason Riley. 24 tries this season, and no wonder. Thumping tackle there by Caithness. And that was David Lockie who put the punishing hit in and stopped that Preston Lodge attack in its tracks.
Yeah, David Lockie just came on off the bench, obviously at half time, and that's a very, very difficult tackle to make. It's getting your timing right, so you just hit the man as the ball arrives. Any sooner it's a penalty, any later then, well, you're turning around and you're chasing somebody who's got a free run to the line. So he did well there. Caithness looked as if Colin Sanchez had 1 or 2 words at half time. They look really, really aggressive and up for this second half.
John Miller is also on for Caithness. I'm actually, Chris, I must apologise to the Caithness. It's Danny Gordon who's on for Caithness, not David Lockie. David Lockie plays for PL. I've been looking at the wrong side of my sheet. So my apologies there to anybody who's been howling at their television and trying to get me to get it right. It's Danny Gordon, who's number 22 for Caithness, who came on at half time and put the tackle in that we were describing.
Yeah. He actually put a wonderful tackle in off the kickoff as well. Brims hit a nice long kickoff as well, taking the Preston Lodge, and the winger, as usual, the first man up there, put a good tackle in, so he'll be into the game. It's always important when you come off the bench. You want an early contact, an early touch. You want to feel involved, and he's got that.
Here's Pete Johnston then for Preston Lodge, just going to throw in. And up goes the big man, Blair Cowan, the PL captain. Lovely line-out ball there. Riley in the centre, doing a lot of damage there. A bit of penetration, well done. Then back again to Andrew Clark. That was a nice piece of play by Preston Lodge, but McIntosh is back there, safe as houses, Blair McIntosh at the moment. Dale Gordon. Finlay Hughes now. Hughes, lovely wee sidestep. Oh, look at this. What a great tip tackle, though, by the big man, Roddy Gray.
No. Here's a debate. It'd be good to get a replay on this one. His referee has penalised Chris Hamilton, the scrum half, for not holding on, but it looked to me as a tackle was made before. It was a tap tackle. Now, is Chris Hamilton, this number 9, is he the tackler? No. That's brave play. That's good play by Hamilton. He's on his feet. I think that's it's a wee bit disappointing for Chris Hamilton. He's put himself in a good position, but the advantage has gone with Preston Lodge.
Aye, and I don't think he was even preventing the man from getting back on his feet or playing the ball or anything.
He was able to sustain his own body weight because his base was so wide, his feet were so wide.
Yeah.
A brave thing to do, a really, really good thing to do, but unfortunately he was penalised there.
A bit harsh.
A wee bit harsh.
There we go.
It happened quickly.
Preston Lodge, though, with the sun in their backs and an 11-point cushion at 17-6 ahead, and another try in the offing. Can we see round the corner here?
Yeah, they're driving, they're under control of the
score.
score.
They've got it. Let's watch and see who comes up.
I think it's
number 8. It's Paul Voy. That is a very, very interesting and decisive try there for Preston Lodge. It really sends out a message to Caithness, doesn't it?
It does. It was well controlled. The ball was at the back. Paul Voy had his hands on it the whole time, driving towards the line, and he got over. But it came from that penalty that was a bit dubious. They found it. Preston Lodge found the corner, then drove over, and as we see again, you see Paul Voy, number 8, can just see the ball in his hands, and what he'll do, he'll try and work to the back. Everyone will try and drive past him, allowing him to control it, and then keep the control to dot down there over the line for a 5-pointer.
But they were very tightly together, and
they were.
That's essential, isn't it? When you're driving them all.
You can see here, the initial defence was good by Caithness, and then once the legs start pumping, everyone's in unison. You try and do it timing together. Driven over the line, good score for Paul Voy.
I asked Colin Gregor the same question. I'm going to ask you, did you ever get caught in them all?
Once or twice.
Only by accident.
I think caught was the right word as well.
Well, Graham Patterson's conversion attempt goes wide on the left, so a sizable gap. Now 16 points between these sides. Caithness looking a wee bit down in the dumps as they come back. The spring has gone out of their step that they showed, which they came back on from their half-time break. Preston Lodge are so strong with up front when they get the ball in hand and they start to do these driving mauls. Dale Gordon. Riley again. Look at this. This is Blair Robertson. Lovely stuff. Now, if that pass goes to hand, that's sheer perfection. This is Finlay Hughes. Oh, what a tackle. Brilliant stuff. Chris Hamilton with the tackle, but that was great rugby.
That's one of the best pieces of rugby we've seen all afternoon, and if we don't, we'll have a look again. Riley made the initial break with Blair Robertson. He's a great support player, and then he made look at that pass from his left hand right into Finlay Hughes, and then we've got Chris Hamilton, the scrum half, chasing, last ditch tackle. Wonderful. Great attack, great defence. It's great to see.
Inspiration in attack, but an inspiring defensive tackle there by Chris Hamilton. Hands on knees there, just almost on his own try line. Number 9 for Caithness in green. Knocked back by Preston Lodge. There's a chance here for them. They're right on the line again. They scored a try here just a couple of minutes ago. Oh, held up. The referee right on the spot. Some kind of tired looking Caithness players.
Yeah, as I said, that they spent a lot of the first half defending against Preston Lodge, who are a quality outfit. And the more you defend, the more tired, or the quicker you tire, the more tired you'll become. And you're probably seeing that here, that big burst of energy just after half time. But since then, it's all been Preston Lodge.
Preston Lodge won the RBS East Regional League Division 1, scoring 929 points in the process in their 18 games. That's impressive rugby. Lots of tries there, and they're showing the same thing today again, because they've now scored 3 tries. A penalty try, one by Blair Robertson and one by Paul Voy. The two after half time have been tremendous. Now, Caithness, what can you do with this? Patterson gets it back. And the ball cleared away to touch.
They did well there, Caithness. Initially, the scrum was Preston Lodge's scrum, 5 yards out, but the Caithness guys drove them back. And as Paul Voy picked up at the base of the scrum for Preston Lodge, he was tackled, eventually turned over. And although they looked tired, they've dug deep for their coach and each other and cleared their lines.
That's big Darren Eales, number 1 in the back of his Preston Lodge jersey, right at the front of the line out there. Ready to give lift and assistance if necessary, but it wasn't. Not straight. Caithness up for the scrummage.
This is an interesting decision, that you want to keep the ball, but you want territory. So to get territory, you often need to kick the ball in space. But then you give Preston Lodge the possession. So these circumstances just outside the 22, when you've not had your hands on the ball, do you risk keeping the ball in your hand, or do you kick long and get a good kick chase? It'll be interesting to see what Caithness do here. I'd like to see them keep the ball in their hand, manufacture a situation, but unfortunately they've been turned over at the scrum.
Indeed they have. Here's this burly standoff. Andrew Clark got a handoff like the kick of a mule, and then taken on by Stoddart, and Caithness being asked to do even more tackling. Look, just being knocked back off the ball. This is Voy, the last try scorer, and that's the Caithness 22. Then the wee hack on. Well done there by Danny Gordon. It's frantic in there, very disorganised, and it's look how close the players are. That you could put them all in the centre circle of the field almost.
I suppose that's one way to gain territory, isn't it?
Indeed.
I've had 2 or 3 coaches in my career that actually used to quite like stuff like that. Just organise mayhem. It was create chaos. Don't let the opposition, settle. Don't give them opportunity to have a platform to kick off or attack off. And that's exactly what Caithness did. They just fly hack. They flew through. They had brave in defence. They were quick, and they've gained themselves 35 yards.
Johnny Sked and Raymond Mackey come on for Preston Lodge, and they join the fray.
You can see the Caithness backline are lining up on the left-hand side of the scrum, a centre field scrum here, and they're all lined up, bar one. Graham Fryer far out on the right-hand side, so it's interesting to see which way they'll go. Preston Lodge have to then adapt the defence to cover this.
Hamilton with a put in, Duffy with a strike. Oh, and Preston Lodge penalised for deliberately pulling the scrum round. And I think Liam Brims will go for territory here and try to ease Caithness down into a better attacking position. He does. Maybe not quite as far as he would have wanted. There's just a wee breeze blowing now, Chris, just ever so slightly, I think, in Caithness's favour, blowing from right to left of picture.
Yeah, it seems to, I suppose the edge of the field looks really calm, the flags are really quite calm, but often in stadiums the wind whirls around in the centre of the field, and I think it is quite blustery out there.
What a huge jump there. That was brilliant stuff. I think that was Grant Anderson got up for that one. Caithness, and a punch there, that could be trouble. Number 17, John Miller on Chris Dixon. There's a good drive by Caithness. Here's Hamilton along the line to Brims, looking for runners, taken on by Mark Anderson. Hamilton again, there's no way through for this fella. He's waiting for the wee trapdoor to open somewhere that they can just pop through. Back they come. Well, there's no indication from the assistant referee that there was any foul play, but I thought somebody gave somebody a bit scalp across the face there, but there we are.
Well, here we go. I think to be honest, the referee talks to the Preston Lodge captain, Blair Cowan. The number 7, Chris Dixon, was holding on to one of the Caithness players, and it was almost a handoff. You can see it here. There's a bit of grappling, and then I think, it's a handoff.
It's a handoff.
A handoff.
It's a handoff.
Yeah, no one has the ball, but it was a handoff.
Yeah, no punch, open hand.
Yeah, open hand. So it's a bit of tit for tat, really, obviously.
Yeah, handbags, as they say.
Yeah, but then we saw a great drive from Caithness, and turning the tables a little bit on Preston Lodge, allowing them to get a penalty for Brims.
Indeed, and Chris, this is Liam Brims here with this penalty, and they need it. If ever a team needed a penalty at the moment, it's Liam Brims. Oh, missed wide on the right. Chance for a quick counter here by Preston Lodge.
I know it's hindsight, but I was actually quite surprised that Brims was going to take that penalty on. The previous line out gave them the penalty because they drove Preston Lodge back, and at 22-6 it was maybe a bigger psychological advantage if you go to the corner and do that again.
Liam Brims just unlucky with that one. Danny Gordon was beaten to it by Blair Robertson. Robertson tries to link up. Oh, and there's a wild piece of distribution, I think. That was Chris Patterson that time. Look at Preston Lodge. Riley after it again. Oh, he's there. He's sniffing every opportunity, hunting them down, putting the fear of death into the Caithness defence there. It really is.
It's great to see.
It's something quite special.
It's great to see the commitment from both teams. Bodies flying everywhere, trying to pick up the ball. As you see it again, it's just got it second time lucky. Still pops up.
This lad Riley is something else.
Well picked up by Mark Anderson, but I think you said Chris Patterson knocked on him there as well. I'm not sure.
Did I?
Can't blame me nowadays.
Oh. Listen, I'm guaranteeing nothing. I sometimes hear myself say things and I think, where did that come from? However, there we go. In the heat of the moment.
Good on you.
Caithness, nice drive. Have they got the ball though? That's what they're after.
Preston Lodge have held them up, I think.
Yeah. 6:22 is the score. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 22. There it is at the top left of your screen. And again, let me just give the wee Twitter address, @Scotland Team, #RBS Finals Day. @Scotland Team, #RBS Finals Day. There you are. And we've had lots of people tweeting in already from all points of the world. It's been quite amazing, really. The reach that such coverage has. It makes you think Peru, North Carolina, South Korea, Methil. And I think from somebody in the stand here.
Yeah, there's a lot of tweets coming in. A lot of congratulations for Highland coming in, and people tweeting their photos from the day.
Yeah.
It's a great atmosphere, isn't it? It's great for the clubs. We're going to see 4 games here this afternoon, and all covered on Scottish Rugby's website. For those who can't be here, it's great to keep in touch with old friends and old foes as well. See how they're getting on, and that's great to see. But the tweets are certainly coming in thick and fast. I
was having a chat with Colin Bailey of Highland Rugby Club. I think he's honorary life vice president, something like that. And there's a man who drove Highland Rugby and rugby in that part of the country for years and years and years through his work at Milburn Academy and at Highland Rugby Club. And it's great to see him again down here this morning. And of course he'll be delighted with the success that Highland had in the bowl final, beating Glenrothes. Pick up here, and away goes the big number 8. That's Paul Voy. Oh, almost clean through. Stoddart. Preston Lodge cranking up the pressure here. They're looking very good for a try. All being done at pace. Oh, is he there? Yes. Another good score.
It's Dale Gordon, I think. Just
Dale Gordon, the scrum half, Chris.
Yeah, clever player. He brought his big runners into the game, didn't he? 2 or 3 times. Voy picked up off the back of the scrum, initially well tackled, and then he brought his big runners into the game. And then as soon as you bring them in, the defence sometimes moves away from him, and he found his space. There he is. He picks the ball up, sees the gap between the 2 defenders, and then has the strength to wriggle free, place it down. Very similar to Mark Bennett's score last night. For those of you who watched the Glasgow game, just reaching out for that try line. But good play by Dale Gordon.
Here's the replay again, Chris, just from another angle.
Yeah, that's the behind the touch judge angle. But take my word for it, he saw the gap. There was a discrepancy in the defensive line for Caithness, and Dale Gordon picked the loose ball up, was quick, found the gap and drove over.
Here is Graham Patterson. Conversion attempt, just pulled it a wee bit to the right. Still, they are 21 points ahead. Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 27.
Defended that corner reasonably well there, Caithness. I know they gave the try away in the end, but they've been brave defending that bottom right corner as we look at it, because Preston Lodge, I must say again, are a quality side.
Preston Lodge are looking very good indeed. That could be knocked on, taken in there by big Andy Morris. Patterson, just off his... did that go back? I think it did. Very good running here by Liam Brims. Quick ball needed now before Preston Lodge reorganise. Good turnover. Here's Raymond Mackey with ball in hand. Came on as a sub for PL. Try scorer Dale Gordon. Here's this big fella Paul Voy again. Isn't this lovely? Look at that. Great rugby right along the line. Tremendous stuff by Preston Lodge. Really warming to the task. Evan Sutherland has to help Caithness there. Take ball in, set it up again. What can Chris Hamilton do here to help his team? Long kick. Caught by Patterson. Fed inside to this guy, Finlay Hughes, who showed a lovely turn of pace. There he goes again with that flaring sidestep. Then he gets caught eventually by Danny Gordon, but that was lovely running again by Finlay Hughes.
It's not the first time either, Bill, is it?
Oh,
you know, he's
super.
A great counter-attacking player as he comes off that right foot and again then has a pace to drive to the gap. And just as he tries to offload it, it knocks forward. But again, great scramble defence by Caithness. They're working hard to get back and cover up. Danny Gordon again to the fore, forcing that knock on. So, you know, that's what I mean. Preston Lodge have quality throughout. They've good broken field runners. We've seen Finlay Hughes like that. We've seen Blair Robertson burst through the middle. Chris Thomas make breaks, you know, behind the scrum. And then up front, we've talked about Jason Riley and Paul Voy. These guys are, you know, they have quality throughout the field, throughout the team, and they're putting Caithness under pressure. But Caithness are sticking to task. A bit tired, but they're sticking to it.
I think Preston Lodge are winning the back row battle, and I think they're a bit sharper midfield as well, a bit more penetrative. Yeah,
a bit creativity as well. Obviously, they're getting good possession to play off, haven't they? You know, the pack are setting a good platform, but and the two centres, Robertson and Thomas, you know, they've got creativity, they've got a support line, they've got the ability to beat a man, and in the back three are, especially Finlay Hughes, taking the opportunity of the space in front of him.
Have you seen anybody here in this game, Chris, whom you think could take a step up towards the Premiership rugby?
I think so. I think, you know, the guy who's just had his hands on the ball, we've spoken about the scrum half for Caithness, Chris Hamilton, and also the names we've said, you know, Paul Voy, Jason Riley, both in the back row for Preston Lodge, definitely, yeah.
They've had very good games. I've been hugely impressed by Riley. In terms of ball carrying and penetration, he's done great work. But here's another penalty coming Preston Lodge's way, and here's Graham Patterson with that strong, canny left foot of his, just popping the ball down into the corner. Into the shade they go, down there.
Tempo's just dropping a wee bit. You know, here's I wouldn't be too surprised if the ball was kept in here and driven towards the Caithness line. Looks as if the Preston Lodge players are planning that.
And for the people who are listening abroad, it's just coming up to 2:30 in the afternoon here in Scotland. And still the sun is shining, the shadows lengthening a wee bit. But what a glorious day it's been. This is the second match of this sort of festival Cup Finals Day, RBS Championships that we have at Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. And there are some of the spectators with their vuvuzelas and their big fan fingers. And it's been a super day so far. This is the second of the 4 games that will be played on this all-weather surface here, this 4G pitch. And there's a couple of the stars of this game, I think, both the scrum halves. Chris Hamilton to the right and Dale Gordon to the left for Preston Lodge. In a messy scrum, and they'll have to take that one again.
Yeah, it's such an important position, the scrum half, isn't it? You know, I think it's the link between the backs and the forwards, but it's more than that. It's often the decision maker. It's often the guy who sets the tempo, who dictates how quickly or how slowly the game's played. And I think we've gone down a route of seeing scrum halves as maybe in a Mike Phillips role, who's, you know, destructive with ball in hand and powerful, phenomenal player. But there's more to scrum half play than that. You know, I like to see the guys we've got today, they're making decisions, the old-fashioned scrum half, if you like, and they both played very well this afternoon.
An old-fashioned scrum half with a bit jiggery-pokery, as they used to say, isn't it? That's another one, another good Scots word. Look, here come Caithness now. He needs to give it. Oh, he's away. Hamilton is away. Great pass inside to Frubister. Oh, and away goes the big fullback, McIntosh. This is a great breakout here by Caithness. Now the big man, Andy Morris, goes whoomph, right into the heart, the soft underbelly. Well, not so soft perhaps of Preston Lodge. Brims, that was a a pass which came with a tackle. And that's a forward pass there, so they'll come back for a previous infringement. That was a lovely piece of running again by Chris Hamilton.
That was a great piece of play. Yeah, it was scrum half, breaking from his own line, but the scrum was solid before that. They brought the ball into the midfield, and it was actually a lovely pass by Frubister to Chris Hamilton on the loop that set them away. It's great to see, you know, 60 minutes into the game, they're still trailing Caithness 27 points to 6, but the ability and the desire to play like that is great to see.
Well, they want to put on a show, there's no doubt about it. They haven't managed to score a try, as you can see from the number 6. There's been a couple of penalties, but they've been knocking on the door once or twice. And here are one or two more. Caithness subs coming on. Number 16, Big Pete Healy, I see a new hooker. And Stuart McIntosh, who's a big 17-stone lock forward. And off the field comes, I think it's Andy Morris, yeah, and Michael Duffy.
Preston Lodge lining up some substitutions as well as the final 20 minutes, and we spoke about the nervous tension and excitement of a cup final or a Shield final. Not only that, it's a hot day, it's a warm day. They've played at a terrific tempo and pace on this surface as well. It lends itself to playing quickly. I remember Gregor Townsend, the Glasgow Warriors coach, saying that the professional players time the speed of the ball, like an average time with the ball speed when they play rugby, you know, on grass as opposed to the game in Cardiff on the artificial surface. And I think that the ball speed was about a second quicker every single ruck and maul. So it's just flying back. Players want to keep the ball off the ground. They don't want to go to deck and, you know, allow the player to jackal over. So the tempo is much quicker. And it's no surprise we're seeing the bench getting used here.
One or two substitutions. I see Chris Thomas has come off from the Preston Lodge side. Oh, another lovely jump. We've seen some great manual skill today. Some lovely offloading, some lovely line-out work. You know, as well as the bruising up front, shoulder-to-shoulder stuff. It's been some very skillful rugby. Hamilton to Brims, long pass. Oh, Danny Gordon almost got it. Chance here for Preston Lodge. Ball knocked on though. Yeah, just a little bit too eager, Caithness, at that stage.
A bit more fun now than that first game.
18 minutes to go to full time, or thereabouts. And crowd enjoying this. Players just waiting for not the setting of the sun, but the setting of the scrum. John Miller on the loose head for Caithness on the right of your picture there. Number 17 in the green jersey. He's just come on as a sub. He's scored over 70 points for Caithness in his career, and this is his 60th appearance. I am 26-year-old.
Preston Lodge backs are lined up in an interesting fashion as well. They've got, you know, Clark a stand off with 2 players directly behind and then 3 in his outside. So it looks like we're going to see an intricate move if the ball indeed comes out the scrum.
PL pick it up and drive on. Now have they got something happening here? Here's Dale Gordon. Another penalty. You
can just feel the tempo slowing now, isn't it,
yes.
Bill? You know, the substitutions often do that as well. You know, you know, not disruptive. These guys have to go on and they're going to bring something. But when they are so eager and the rest of the team have played for 65 minutes already, there's often a wee bit lull until we get going again. And we've spoken about the weather and the surface, but it's maybe just good game management as well for Preston Lodge. You know, winning the penalties, driving the line out, eating up the clock.
Brilliant taking the line out there by Grant Anderson for Caithness. Now the drive. Oh, they've got some momentum into this one. If they can stay tight and stay bound. And here's the counter by Preston Lodge. But the ball comes out. And now half a wee dummy there by Liam Brims and almost through the gap. Hamilton will try a second time. Here are the big guys. And thump into them. Coghill there with that blue scrum cap. Always there in support. Chance here for Stevie Campbell, the captain. Ducks his head. And then the pick and drive round the far side, while the rest of the team get organised on this side. Preston Lodge lying very flat, right up on the advantage line. On the offside line, rather. Kind of wild pass by Liam Brims now. If Mark Anderson can get this ball out, here's this fella, Coghill again. Young Rhys Coghill, only 20 years of age. One of their top try scorers, and then Stuart McIntosh. All high knees and thumping elbows. In they go. Here's Hamilton yet again, ferreting in for it. Brims with a nice pass away out to the far side. Fryer is out there. Oh, and if his pass had gone to hand, Brims was up in the inside, but the pass dropped a little bit. Still, it's in play. Is this Blair Robertson away in that far side? Great running there by Preston Lodge. Still the play goes on. Then the referee calls a halt and a little bit of sanity comes to the occasion.
I think there may be a water break here, Bill. I think somebody will take a knee, as they say in the game, and just get their breath back, because that was end-to-end stuff. Again, Blair Robertson, who's done 3 or 4 times at least, broken the line and take off down that faraway touchline, but his pass inside just didn't quite go to hand at this late stage in the game. But it's still both teams trying to attack. Graham Fryer got set loose on the right-hand side for Caithness. And if his pass had gone to hand, then Caithness would have scored. So, certainly an open game as we approach the last 15 minutes.
I have to say, this has been one of the most pleasant broadcasting experiences I've ever had. Just sitting here with the sun shining, perfect view of the ground, and trying to bring the game to the listening and the viewing audience. It's absolutely pleasant here today. Scarcely a breath of wind. No,
it's a perfect day, isn't it? The sun's out, and we've been treated by, you know, good fixtures as well. And in both fixtures, in the first one, Highland, I think, were, you know, they won it, they were the better side, but Glenrothes didn't let them go away. You know, it looked at one point that Highland would maybe stretch away from them. And similarly here, Preston Lodge, you know, it looked as if just after half time they could, you know, stretch the lead and stretch it and get out of touch. But they both, Glenrothes and Caithness, deserve a lot of credit for staying with them. You know, emptying the tank, emptying all the energy you have. Last ditch tackles, the Chris Hamilton one springs to mind. So not only have we seen good attacking play, we've seen a lot of courage from the 4 sides already.
And we have to remember, it's club rugby, it's not international rugby. So, you know, the pace and the skill level is appropriate to clubs rather than to international players. So, you know, people who are saying, maybe seeing this and thinking, oh, there's 1 or 2 drop passes here. Well, that's what you get. But these guys are doing their best, and that's the level they play at, and they play at the very top of that level in order to win this shield here today. Just into the last, 13 minutes or so of play now. And it would be a joy for Caithness if they could get a try. I think they've worked so hard, they deserve one. Preston Lodge have scored 4. A penalty try started them off. Then Blair Robertson got one. Paul Voy had his first after the second half restart. And Dale Gordon scored a very good try also in the second half. So 4 tries to Preston Lodge, none to Caithness at the moment. 13 minutes left for Caithness to cross the whitewash.
They'll be working hard to do it again. You know, the scrums have been fairly dominant, having the set piece has been dominant. You know, in the sense of the game, I don't think one side has complete dominance over the other, because we've seen Caithness scrummage strongly, we've seen Preston Lodge scrummage strongly, but there's a good opportunity here for Caithness with such a wide scrum so close to the touchline. Means they've got the rest of the pitch to try and attack, a lot of space to attack in.
Kind of messy scrum there, and Caithness have got the penalty from it. They were down on hands and knees, as you could see, trying to get the ball away. Now here's Brims. He's going to try and put them away down with one of these sort of curving kicks that will curve into touch. And he puts them there exactly, which is about, what, halfway between their 22 and their 10, roughly.
That's a good kick from a narrow angle, used the banana kick. I think when I started first, that was sort of known as a squaff. but now they actually practice squaffing, if that's the word, to bend it round and you know, make a better touch, which he did very well there.
I always thought Dan Parks was very good at that.
Oh yeah.
Or not. There we go.
I love the squaff.
Love this squaff. Here come. Oh, look at the gap that's opened up there for Norman Frubister. Hamilton trying to put the grubber kick through, well placed there and picked up by Darren Eales, but the ref saw a previous infringement.
Yeah, just not a really inventive play actually from Caithness, from Brims, and using the two midfielders, Mark Anderson and Norman Frubister. I think there was a slight obstruction in there, but as I say, Frubister went through, and just as he tried to get the pass away, it was knocked forward by Preston Lodge, allowing Caithness to have another attacking opportunity to work for this first try.
There's the front row union. Look at them. They'll love the dark arts in there. Crouch, bind, set, and a penalty to Preston Lodge for scrummage infringement.
I don't know, was it dropping a knee? His knees on the ground? Yeah.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, on that the Caithness and the tight head side, the referee's indicating his knee hit the ground. Have to fight to keep your chest forward, to keep your shoulders square under a lot of pressure.
I think the front row forwards must be so sore after international games. It just the sheer one-on-one violence of it all. Now, this is going to be a Preston Lodge line out. Here is Raymond Mackey with the throw. Up go the jumpers. It comes back to Mackey. Kind of fortuitously, but he gets it nevertheless. Well, I'm not quite sure that handling back in the ruck there. Daniel Shaw, today's referee for this Shield final, has dished out quite a few penalties and 1 or 2 yellow cards. There's not been all that much of an indiscipline problem, or it hasn't even been an indiscipline problem. It's been remarkably clean as the players have put all their effort into playing decent rugby. But however, you know, as things go, and when you're playing on the edge, you transgress, and the referees have to apply law. Knocked back there for Preston Lodge. Here's Paul Voy trying to get away from Jonathan Brash. Thumping tackles in midfield there, and suddenly it will erupt. Here's Patterson. Away he goes. This is Raymond Mackey. Lovely wee pass there. Taken on now by Paul Dixon, number 1 in the back of his PL jersey.
No good attacking play from PL. Oh, we've seen quite a lot of tries today in the 2 games so far scored on the blind side, and that's a conscious thing. When defence coaches and defences always want to work round the far side. They say fill the field, get round the far side of the ruck. So if you can imagine Caithness working really hard to get round the far side of the ruck, clever, and that's where we come back to scrum halves. Clever players recognise that and come back up the blind side. And we saw that there from Preston Lodge attacking the blind side. They've already scored 2 tries up the blind side. By that occasion, it was well marshalled by the Caithness defence, who I must say are given absolutely everything they have in their tank to be committed to continue to make these tackles. They've looked pretty tired since the first 5 minutes of the second half, and they're so brave, they're so committed. They keep making those tackles and keeping them out. Again, that time it was Chris Hamilton making a tackle on the big front row forward.
See, and it's so warm, you just have to take a pint of beer now and then, just to keep cool. And
cool yourself down, eh?
And appreciate the efforts of others.
I never know why people wear their shades in their head when it's as sunny as that as well, Billy.
I know. Yeah. Well, I've got my sun specs with me just in case, because I had an idea that perhaps the sun might be shining into our eyes as the day progressed and the sun began to set. But here we are with Caithness being bundled into touch, and a great scramble for the ball, and bodies flying everywhere. It'll be Caithness's throw. Stevie Campbell started the game off throwing in and is finishing the game with a throw in. Back it comes to him. The lineouts were very clean and decisive earlier in the game, but they've become a wee bit more of a lottery within the last 20 minutes or so as players have tired and as substitutes have been put on. Hamilton, quick penalty, and then the long kick. Ewan Higgins is after that. Higgins has got the ball tucked under his right arm there. Can he keep it in play? It's gone forward. No chance, no advantage accruing to Caithness there, so it's another scrum. Players beginning to troop and walk across now the field.
Yeah, it's understandable, isn't it, the effort and the commitment that's gone in. And I suppose half an eye maybe on what happens after the final whistle as well. A big part of the game is just enjoying it and celebrating it with your friends and family. A huge amount of tweets coming into us here, a lot of support from family members and from friends, and an important part of the day for these guys is as well. As once your job's done, you can enjoy the rugby that's coming ahead with your friends and family, and have a day you're going to remember.
And Chris Hamilton just standing there, number 9 in the back of his green jersey, alongside Dale Gordon. Gordon scored a lovely try just about, 20 minutes ago. Very nice try. And Hamilton, well, he's given everything for the cause for Caithness, but he just hasn't been able to penetrate, hasn't been able to get through. And when he has, and the 1 or 2 occasions he has, either the scoring pass has gone astray, or he's been left isolated, or something like that. But he has worked very, very hard for Caithness today.
Absolutely.
There's the put in. There's Preston Lodge get the heave on in the scrum again. You see how difficult it is. Is that Rhys Coghill at number 8 there, or difficult? No, it's Evan Sutherland at number 8 for Caithness, and difficult for him to clear the ball away there, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's the scrum was under pressure there. It's very difficult to get your hands free, and you want to get away. You know you're under pressure there. The backs are spread out across the field. You want to get away, but there's that element of Dale Gordon putting a bit of pressure on as well. He can ferret round and he can get his foot in or his boot in to try and disrupt you or throw a hand in there. So sometimes these wee skills that look very easy to us sitting here are quite difficult to do under pressure.
Caithness subs going on, and a couple of guys coming off looking very dejected, I have to say, because they know that this game is beyond them now. There are 21 points between the two sides, and it's Preston Lodge in possession, and Preston Lodge who are leading. This fella, Andrew Clark, I'm going to call him a robust standoff. He loves the physical side of it as well as the skill side of it. Robust. Oh, and then diving down on the ball, you see, and a penalty there to Caithness. Is this going to be their last hurrah? They've got about 4.5 minutes to go. What can they do with this?
Oh, here it goes. Tap and go.
Everybody's sort of urging them on. Come on, Caithness, get a score. Lovely stuff. Here they go. This is Evan Sutherland with a kick ahead and a race to the line, but he's going to be beaten there. I think Darren Eales gets back. Yeah, 22 dropout.
22. That's good to see. Chris Hamilton was just basically toying with everyone, wasn't he? It looked as if he was going to kick the touch, and he took the quick tap. Some lovely pass and some great hands, and it was Hamilton who got the end of it again, whose kick was just bounced on too far over the dead ball line. But great to see. Good skills under pressure. Unfortunately, not just finished off for Caithness.
Chris Hamilton is 23 now, Chris, and yet none of the pro sides have had a look at him. Do you think his time has gone? Is it too late now?
I hope not. I hope not at 23. There's.
I'm not trying to put you in the place.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think. I don't think 23 is too old at all, especially when the scrum half position we spoke about. It's a lot of decision making. I don't know what his occupation is or what his thoughts are, but he's certainly caught my eye this afternoon. He's been involved in the setup before the age grade, and he thoroughly deserves to have done that because he's a quality player.
Preston Lodge just outside their 22, ready to, just as I say, they're ready to clear the danger. Back come Caithness. Hamilton with a lovely stretching catch. Oh, and an obstruction there, just as Chris Hamilton went through the gap, but there was obstruction. Oh, and the wee scrum half dejected. Exhausted and dejected. Let's have a look at it again.
Yeah, the ball comes out. Great take under pressure to start with. And yes, just the knock on Clark, Andrew Clark, the Preston Lodge standoff. And he, to be fair, he alerted the referee's attention to it, but quite right in the end.
Here at PL again, we've seen some nifty footwork from the Preston Lodge players today. Lovely wee side steps. And then the big men take it on. Blair Cowan, here they go again. And it's just unfortunate that the continuity seems to be broken now by a wee handling error or an inability to hold on to the ball in a tackle, just as fatigue begins really to hit them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the final minute and a half now here at Broadwood, but a second cracking game of rugby. A lot of good tries have been scored, a lot of near misses, some brave defence. But I think just as a result of both teams absolutely emptying everything they have in the tank, we're seeing a few more mistakes now, but this could be the last opportunity for Caithness to get a score.
Number 20 pops it in. That was Pete Johnston. Preston Lodge again. Raymond Mackey. Mackey loves the physical side of it as well. Here they go. Clark. This forceful, rumbustious standoff. Dale Gordon. Robertson. Gordon again. There's Clark. He's not blessed with lightning pace, but he's strong and he's got good hands and he makes good decisions. There we are into the last 30 seconds or thereabouts of this Shield final between Caithness and Preston Lodge, with the men in black and red and white to your left of picture leading comfortably. Preston Lodge 27 points to 6 ahead. Here's the scrummage put in again. Again. There we go, Caithness. Oh, and a chance here. This is the captain, Stevie Campbell. Oh, and the final pass didn't go to hand. Oh, despair there. What an effort. Campbell, for a big man, accelerates away very, very quickly.
I've been impressed with him as well, Bill. Leading by example from first minute to the last, and powering through the defensive line, showing a bit of pace. 80th minute as the ball goes out.
And Preston Lodge, the winners there by 27 points to 6, Chris. They've showed tremendous attacking potential, but they've showed very good defence as well, and that shows in the scoreline. Caithness could not score a try.
No, they couldn't. That's Preston Lodge, the champions here of the RBS Shield, and undefeated in a whole season long. That tells you good teams are built on strong defence. Absolutely impenetrable. They would control in defence, but Caithness, I must say, they threw everything they had at them and defended bravely themselves. So deserved winners. Preston Lodge 27-6, a quality outfit.
I think they were deserved winners. I think they just showed a bit more rugby today in this Shield final, and players shaking hands, which is always a nice part of the sort of brotherhood and the friendship of rugby union. And these RBS finals have thrown up a couple of very entertaining games so far, with Highland winning the Bowl earlier on today, and now Preston Lodge winning the Shield. So there we are, just a wee huddle there, the Preston Lodge boys, with the cameraman in danger of being hauled into it if he's not careful. Great celebration there will be down at Pennypit Park in East Lothian. And here's the dance of joy. Look at them go, these lads. They've worked very hard for this. They've had a tremendous season, winning their league. Now they've won the Shield. What next? So we can thank Chris Patterson as he leaves the commentary box up here in the stand at Broadwood and makes his way down onto the pitch, where he'll join Jim Mason and he'll present the man of the match. And just as the ground staff get everything going, just look at this. PL, PL, PL. And all those of you who are living abroad and watching this, or even living in the UK and watching this, well, if you support Preston Lodge, you've got every reason to be very proud of your team. They've done extremely well today. So delight in the faces of the Preston Lodge players. And there is the other side of the coin, I'm afraid. That's Caithness, who have come down and scored 6 points through 2 penalties by Liam Brims, but they've not been able to score tries despite being very, very hard-working and earnest in their play. And in the sunshine, we can go down and join Jim Mason, who's with Chris Patterson. Yeah, well, we've got a wee technical problem, as you can see there at the moment, because we can't hear Jim Mason, although we can see him. And so, just give us a couple of seconds and we'll get that one sorted. But look at the scenes here at Broadwood as the Preston Pans, the Preston Lodge players and spectators congratulate each other. Look, hugs all around, isn't that great? And then off to our left of picture, you can't quite see it on the screen, but let me just tell you that the Caithness boys are getting a huge, huge round of applause from their supporters. There they are, and well deserved as well. It's been hard fought, but very friendly and warmly received by everybody. So there we are. Look at all that. It's a great family occasion, of course, down in the ground. Spectators warmly applauding Caithness. Shirt sleeve weather, of course, here in Scotland. You don't see that very often, but my goodness, do we enjoy it when it comes. Presidents of the clubs, of course, will be delighted. Frank Stephen of Caithness will be very happy for Caithness, despite the fact they've lost this final. And Shona Brash, who's president of Preston Lodge, will be delighted with the exploits of her team. But we're still having a wee problem with Jim Mason, the sound link, so there's a microphone problem, so we'll just stay with that and try to sort it out. You see what it means to these players. They are delighted, absolutely delighted. So we're just getting ready for the presentation here as Preston Lodge warmly applaud their beaten finalists, Caithness, runners-up in this RBS Shield, and you know, disappointment etched onto their faces, but these guys have given everything they had. They've emptied the locker, as they say. Big men, small men, tall and short, thin and less thin. And then Caithness will return the compliment by warmly applauding Preston Lodge, and led by their captain Blair Cowan. And then we'll have the presentation ceremony as well. And Chris Patterson is down there, and he will present the Man of the Match award. So Just seconds away from the press. There's the shield, isn't it marvellous? Doesn't it look handsome there on its plinth? And one of Scotland's great all-time players, and it is number 8 for Preston Lodge, Paul Voy, who is awarded the Man of the Match trophy by Chris Patterson, and that's an extra special day for Paul Voy, who's been a tremendous force and strength in that PL side and scored their 3rd try today. And then here come the rest of the team lining up and ready to get there. It'll be Caithness first. Referee, Caithness first actually, yeah, and led by their captain, number 7 Stevie Campbell. He's played a massive part in Caithness's game today, and then Chris Hamilton, Norman Frubister, right down along the line they go. That's Evan Sutherland, and then Rhys Coghill minus his blue scrum cap. Number 13, Mark Anderson. Mark Nicholson next, and so on down the line. There's big Stuart McIntosh. And Chris Hamilton has had his, and that was his standoff partner, Liam Brims. There's another big fella, Andy Morris. Spent a bit of time in the sin bin earlier on, but returned to the fray. So all of these fellas from Caithness collecting the runners-up medal from Ian Rankin, Vice President of the SRU, and from Donald MacLeod, President of the SRU this season. Warm handshakes, warm congratulations. And I know they would have preferred a winner's medal, but they've done extremely well to reach the Shield final. Then the coaches. And then the referee comes up, Daniel Shaw. Graham Marshall and David Grudge were his assistants. Mike Adamson is there as well. Getting a collection of medals today, Mike Adamson. He refereed the bowl final earlier on. And here come the Shield winners, Preston Lodge. First up, Darren Eales. Then Pete Johnston. And so on down the line. Raymond Mackey is 3rd. Then the big fella, Johnny Sked. Andrew Clark, the standoff, played such an important part in their game today. And Chris Thomas as well at centre. And so on. Then the players take their position, of course, on the podium alongside the officials. And the moment they've all waited for, oh, the champagne and the spraying the champagne with the winners' medals round their necks and holding the shield aloft. And that will happen in just a few minutes once the rest of the team have had their winners' medals. Donald MacLeod there presenting medals now. Big fella Bruce Stoddart, so important in their second row. And then Finlay Hughes, who had some wonderful running. Finlay Hughes with that sidestep off his right foot. There we go, and there's the Blair Cowan, the captain, and here is the moment they've all been waiting for. After the officials get their medals, I'm a wee bit premature with that. There we are. There are the PL guys all sitting there. There's Blair Cowan poised to take the shield and not drop it, his teammates will be telling him. And so, the climax of the season for Preston Lodge Rugby Club, the presentation of the RBS Shield to Blair Cowan, their captain. 2014 RBS Shield winners, Preston Lodge. Utter delight there. Here's the champagne, there it goes. They're all standing there with their mouths open. They want every last drop down their throat. So, that was the presentation. Okay, I think we can go down now to Jim Mason, who's got the captain. In fact, we can't, not yet. Wee problem still. So, right, we'll just hang on a second or two, because Jim has managed to grab a hold of Blair Cowan, the captain, and there we are. We've managed to get a camera in position. Just a second. There's the PL guys. Look at the joy in their faces there, lapping it up. And let's go down now and join Jim with Blair Cowan.
Yeah, with the Preston Lodge captain Blair Cowan. Fantastic performance by them against Caithness today. Worthy winners. And what was the secret?
Hard work from the word go, not just recently, all the way from June. We started pre-season in June. The boys have put in a tremendous amount of effort in all season. So it's not just been the last 3 or 4 months. These guys have been working hard since the end of last season, in the gym, on the training paddock, then on a Saturday. And this is nothing more than they deserve. This is exactly what they deserve. Absolutely superb for the club and for the players. It's brilliant.
When I spoke to you yesterday, you thought this would be a fast track to play on. It proved that way. It looked like a really high tempo game.
It was really high tempo. Not really what we're used to in Scotland, playing in the winter in the boggy grounds, but no, made for a great game of rugby. I thought Caithness done brilliant as well. Defended brilliantly and thought they were worthy finalists on the day. But credit's got to go to our boys. Absolutely unbelievable performance. That's 3 trophies this season. We've got 1 to go, and long may it continue.
What does it do? I mean, I know it's about the team as well on the day, but the club as well. Everybody that buys in, all the volunteers, everybody makes a Saturday run, properly in the club. What does it do for the confidence of the whole club?
It's absolutely massive. You can't explain what it does to a club like Preston Lodge or a town like Preston Pans. We've got volunteers all the way through, the minis all the way through, and there's about 7 or 8 of the guys in our first 15 today who played for the minis, so their dads volunteered back in the day with them, and hopefully that'll bleed through, so the guys that are at the minis at the moment in the stands will look on and say, I want to play there in 10 years time or whatever, and it breeds confidence through the club. It's absolutely fantastic.
Great, congratulations, well done. There's a faint whiff of champagne coming
Yes.
off you. Good to go and enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay, 2 cracking games we've had so far. Highland winners in the Bowl final and Preston Lodge winners in the Shield final. The next game will be coming up in about 20 minutes or so, and it's the Women's Cup final with Murrayfield Wanderers against Melrose. Back to Bill.
Thank you for that, Jim. As you say, the next match is the Sarabina Women's Cup final. That'll be coming up shortly. The score in the men's Shield final, once again, Caithness 6, Preston Lodge 27. Paul Mitchell will be taking you through the Women's Cup final and the Men's Cup final. But in the meantime, from me, Bill Johnson, thank you very much for listening and good afternoon.